Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, I am excited to be here. Once again, it's going to be fun. Um, so, I'm going to wait for everybody to get in. We are going to be reading another section of Spare, which like I said, doing this, I have learned so much about how to read to you guys, what to read to you guys, how to make it make sense. So I've gotten a chance since we read last, to really go through the book and kind of like pick out certain things that I really wanted to cover. Tonight will focus a lot on the relationship between Meg and Harry with Kate and William. Tonight, we're really going to do more of a deep dive and kind of look at those chapters. Hi, everybody. Hi, Monica. Hi, Farah. Thanks for joining me. I know Sunday nights, it's a lot of good TV. Me personally, I can't wait to watch The Last of Us tonight. So it's a lot of great TV. The Ravens are playing tonight, which, I don't know how I feel about that. But we got a lot to discuss as it pertains to this book, honey. Now, I do want to say this. I am intrigued by the mind games that get played. And surprised, honestly, by the mind games that get played by William and Kate, according to this book, at least, right? And reading what we're going to be reading tonight, I think at the end of the day, we live in a society that is obsessed with celebrity. Everybody wants to be the it couple, the it person. We live in a time where there's a celebrity everything. There's a celebrity dog walker. There's a celebrity stylist. There's a celebrity mailman. There's a celebrity, ass kisser. It's a celebrity. Everybody is a celebrity something in this day and age. And it is interesting to see. And even on a royal scale, you would think that these people would be above that because they're royals, they have these titles, all of this good stuff. But I think a lot of what happens, and the reason why I'm reading this book, the reason why there's so much friction between Harry and his brother is celebrity. Harry is next in line for the throne when Charles kicks the bucket, bitch. So he's not trying to get upstaged. Yes, Kendra, celebrity fast food meal, I live. Now let me tell y'all something interesting real quick before we get in the read, while we waiting for everybody else to get in. So I'm not friends with my family or my mom on social media at all. Like I just keep it separate, right? I don't want my mother all on my Facebook, my Instagram, TikTok. I don't need all of that, right? But, we've been doing this for 5 years. And I get a text from my mom. And she's like, I loved your reading on Prince Harry's book. I said, wait a minute. I don't tell you about my YouTube. So her and my dad were at home and they were on YouTube looking at something totally different, and the ad for my last reading popped up, and she watched it. And it's interesting because my mom, and I know she's gonna watch this one, my mom does not really know me as an adult. And when I say that, meaning that she knows the child that she raised, right? But she doesn't know the man that I am now. Like, she doesn't know me in that capacity because our relationship was different. So through these cabinet meetings, and I'm sure she probably went back and watched some of these other readings that I've done. I think that she is getting to learn me through social media and through YouTube and through these readings. So these readings are just the gift that keeps on giving, bitch. But you know, I was very shocked and surprised. But you just never know who's watching, including your own parents. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to get started. And we're going to be starting with, this is just before the wedding. So we're getting in wedding time now. Like, the shit's going down. Okay. Though the press was mostly laying off Meg, mostly staying focused on the approaching wedding, the harm was already done. After 18 months of trashing her, they riled up all the trolls who were now crawling out of their cellars in layers. Ever since we'd acknowledged that we were a couple, we'd been flooded with racist taunts and death threats on social media. But now, the official threat level used by palace security to allocate personnel and guns have reached vertiginous heights. In pre-wedding conversations with police, we learned that we become the prize target for terrorists and extremists. I remember General Dannett saying I was a bullet magnet, that anyone standing next to me would be unsafe. Well, I was a bullet magnet again, but standing next to me would be the person I loved most in the world. There's been some reporting about the palace deciding to instruct Meg in guerrilla warfare and survival tactics in the event of a kidnapping attempt. A best-selling book describes the day special forces came to our house, grabbed Meg, put her through several intense days of drills, pushing her into back seats and car boots, speeding away to safe houses, all of which is utterly nonsense. Meg wasn't given 1 minute of training. On the contrary, the palace floated the idea of not giving her any security at all because I was now 6th in line to the throne. Now, wait a minute, bitch. No security for Meg. But he needed to ask permission to marry her. And then now that all of this shit is going on, you're not going to give sis security? Like, really? Oh, my God. Okay. How I wish reports about special forces were even partly true. How I long to phone my mates in special forces, have them come and train Meg and retrain me. Or better yet, pitch in, protect us. For that matter, how I wish I could send special forces to go and grab that tiara. Angela still hadn't delivered it. Now, remember our last reading, bitch, the bitch Angela was playing games with the tiara. That's Elizabeth T's, Queen Elizabeth's dresser, whatever the hell she want to call it. She was playing games with the tiara that Meg picked out. She still ain't delivered the tiara, bitch, and clock is ticking. She's playing games. Meg's hairdresser had come in from France for the rehearsal, and the tiara still wasn't there. So he'd gone back. Again, we phoned Angela. Again, nothing. Finally, Angela approached out of thin air at Kensington Palace. I met her in the audience room. I thanked her, though I added that it would have made our lives so much easier to have had it sooner. Her eyes were fire. She started having a go at me. Angela, you really want to do this now? Really? Now? She fixed me with the look that made me shiver. I could read in her face a clear warning. This isn't over. So I have a problem. How is the Queen Stylist, bitch? How is the Queen Stylist able to even talk to her? Like, I thought in, like, royal succession, like, the stylist, bitch, you can't even, you know, tell him his hair is fucked up. So I'm trying to figure out how she got this much, you know, pull that she could come out her mouth and say what she's saying to her. It's not adding up. But I guess because he's marrying a black woman, you know, all black bets are off. Bitch, I can't. So anyway, fast forward, we getting closer to the wedding, bitch. So Meg had spent months trying to soothe her father. Now this next part is busy. I gagged. Meg had spent months trying to soothe her father. There was always something new that he'd read about himself, something derogatory he'd taken to heart. His pride was constantly wounded. Every day there was another humiliating photo in the papers. Thomas Markle buying a new loo. Thomas Markle buying a six-pack. Thomas Markle with his belly hanging over his belt. We understood. Meg told him we knew how he felt. The press, the paps, they were awful. Impossible to totally ignore what's written, she acknowledged. But please do try to ignore them in person. Ignore anyone who approaches Daddy. Be on guard against anyone who pretends to be your best friend. He seemed to be listening. He started to sound as if he was in a better place mentally. Then, the Saturday before the wedding, Jason phoned us. We've got a problem. What? The Mail on Sunday is going to run a story saying that Meg's father has been working with the Paps and, for money, he has staged some candid photos. We immediately phoned Meg's dad, told him what was coming. We asked him if it was true. Had he staged a bunch of candid photos for money? No. Meg said, we might be able to kill this story, Daddy, but if it turns out you're lying, we'll never be able to kill a false story about ourselves, our children, or anything else again. So this is serious. You must tell us the truth. He swore that he never staged any photos, that he hadn't taken part in any such charade, that he didn't know the Pat in question. Meg whispered to me, I believe him. In that case, we told him, leave Mexico right now. A whole new level of harassment is about to rain down on you. So come to Britain. Now, we'll arrange for an apartment where you can hold up safely until your flight. Air New Zealand, first class, booked and paid for by Meg. We would immediately send a car with private security to pick him up. He said he had things to do. Now Meg's face changed. She turned to me again and sighed. He's lying. The story broke the next morning, and it was worse than we feared. There was video of Meg's father meeting the Pat at an internet cafe. There was a series of partially staged shots, including one of him reading a book about Britain as if studying for the wedding. The photos, reportedly worth £100,000, seemed to prove beyond all doubt that Meg's father had indeed been lying. He'd taken part in this fakery, maybe to make some money, or maybe they had some leverage on him. We didn't know. The headlines read, Meg Markle's father, a con artist, staged candid photos for money. A week before the wedding, this now became a story. So let's pause here. First off, I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to say how any parent should parent their child or how they should deal with their relationship. But as a father, and let me push this further, as a man, right? I don't know how you could do something like that to your little girl. That's just awful. I don't know how you could do something like that. And I understand, times are hard, $100,000, that ain't nothing to shake a twig at, bitch. It's a lot we can do with $100,000. But in the United States of America, bitch, $100,000 at the taxes is really like $70,000, maybe $65,000. Then you got the $65,000 in this, economy, even in what they got married in 2018, something like that, even in that time, shit was still high. So I don't know, $65,000, that's what? A Tesla? Bitch, you did all that. You ruined your relationship with your daughter for a Tesla, bitch? Really? Like, crazy. But anyway. Though the photos had been taken weeks before, they've been held in reserve until the most devastating moment possible. Soon after the story broke, Thomas Markle sent us a text. I'm so ashamed. We phoned him and texted him again. And phoned again. We're not angry, please pick up. He didn't answer. Then we heard along with the rest of the world that he'd apparently had a heart attack and wasn't coming to the wedding. See, God don't like ugly. I don't wish harm on people, goddammit. But God don't like ugly. And retribution will be swift. Now you had a heart attack. Now you gotta take the Tesla money, the $65,000 that's probably left over after taxes from the paparazzi money where you sold out your daughter to go and get your goddamn health fixed, bitch. Unless you were lying about that too. Because maybe the bitch maybe he didn't have a heart attack. I don't know. We're gonna see. At this point, Thomas Markle is an unreliable source. We can't believe him. Because, bitch, I don't know if you had a heart attack at this point, bitch. Because you lie so goddamn much. I can't. Okay? So, let's put this in context. So, wedding, you're dealing with Angela. This is all going on getting ready for the wedding, bitch. You're dealing with the queen's fucking wardrobe organizer throwing shade at Harry and Meg. So you got to deal with this bitch. Then Meg's father is out here selling photos to the paparazzi for Tesla money. Now we getting ready to get into the bullshit that Kate pulled. The next day, Meg had a text from Kate. There was a problem with the dresses for the bridesmaids. Apparently, they needed altering. The dresses were French couture, hand-sewn from measurements only, so it wasn't a big shock that they might need alterations. Meg didn't reply to Kate straight away. Yes, she had endless wedding-related texts, but mostly she was dealing with the chaos surrounding Thomas's lying ass with the photos. So the next morning, she texted Kate that our tailor was standing by at the palace. His name was AJ. Okay, this wasn't sufficient. They set up a time to speak that afternoon. So this is Kate on the phone, bitch. Charlotte's dress is too big, too long, too baggy. She cried when she tried it on at home, Kate said. Charlotte is what, 5? Bitch, who gives a fuck if she likes the dress, bitch? See, this is how you know that this is not a black family. Because in a black family, bitch, Charlotte's ass would have wore that goddamn dress and she would have shut the fuck up. Or either you keep crying, bitch, I'm going to give you something to cry about. But, okay. Now, right. And I told you, so this Meg, so all right, so back up. So Kate on the phone, Charlotte don't like her dress, bitch. We need to do something. So here come Meg. She come back, bam. Right, and I told you that the tailor has been standing by since 8 a.m. here at Kensington Palace. Can you take Charlotte to have it altered as the other moms are doing? So basically, Meg like, bitch, the fuck you calling me about a dress, bitch? When I got all this other shit going on, tell that little bitch to put that dress on. If she don't like it, take it down, zips, bitch. Have them alter it and keep it the fuck moving. Or you can bring her ugly ass to the palace where my stylist and alteration person is waiting for your ass, bitch. He been up there since 8 o'clock and I pay him by the hour. That's basically what Meg's saying, but she's trying to keep it cute with this bitch. No, all the dresses need to be remade. Her own wedding dress designer agreed, Kate added. Meg asked if Kate was aware of what was going on right now with her father. Kate said she was well aware, but the dresses and the wedding is in 4 days. Yes, Kate, I know. And Kate had other problems with the way Meg was planning her wedding. Something about a party for the Page boys. The Page boys? Half the kids in the wedding are from North America. They haven't even arrived yet. It went back and forth. I'm not sure what else to say. If the dress doesn't fit, then please take Charlotte to see AJ. He's been waiting all day. Fine. So basically, Meg like, look, bitch, I don't know what to tell you. I got a lot of shit going on. If that dress don't fit that little whore, then you need to get it together, bitch. This is what it's coming to. Meg, this is where the black side of the family is coming out. Because Meg's like, bitch, I'm not doing this today. I got a lot of shit going on. Okay, so basically they're going back and forth. Oh my God, Charlotte's dress don't fit. Oh my goodness. And then Kate like, bitch, all right, I got the tail up here at the palace. Bring the little bitch down here. We're going to get the dress fixed up. I ain't coming up the palace. What time is that? We need somebody to come to the house. All the dresses need to be fixed. Girl, you know what the fuck I'm dealing with right now? My father just fucking tried it. And you calling me about a dress? Tell that little bitch to go up Super Kids or Sears and put some shit on. I got time for this shit. Whatever. This is not right. All right, girl, whatever. Bye. Boom. That's how it went. Now. A short time later, I arrived home and found Meg on the floor, sobbing. I was horrified to see her upset. but I didn't think it was a catastrophe. Emotions were running high, of course, after the stress of the last week, the last month, the last day. It was intolerable, but temporary. Kate hadn't meant any harm, I told her. Indeed, the next morning, Kate came by with flowers and a card that said she was sorry. Meg's best friend, Lindsay, was in the kitchen when she turned up. Simple misunderstanding, I told myself. So now the bitch, sorry. Now she bring the flowers and shit. See, this the shit I don't like. See, bitches be passive aggressive. They be passive aggressive because what Kate was doing, it was giving very passive aggressive, bitch. Now you sit and thought about it, you probably like, oh shit, bitch, I tried it. Oh, this is not very queen-like, bitch, because I'm about to be the queen. Now I gotta clean this shit the fuck up. Let me get some raggedy ass flowers from flowers.com and show up at this bitch house and give her flowers. Whole time, Megan homegirl there peeping everything that's going down. Bitch, we know what the fuck is going on. You sitting up here doing like, this is busy. This is Real Housewives of Buckingham Palace, bitch. So anyway, on the eve of the wedding, I stayed at Coworth Park Hotel, a private cottage. Now, we get ready to get into where Harry showed his ass, okay? On the eve of the wedding, I stayed, not Harry, William. On the eve of the wedding, I stayed at Coworth Park Hotel, a private cottage. Several mates sat with me and had drinks. One commented that I seemed a bit distracted. Yes, well, there's been a lot going on. I didn't want to say too much. The business with Meg's father, Kate in the dress, the constant worry about someone in the crowd doing something crazy. It's just better not to talk about it. Someone asked about my brother. Where's Willie? I gave another non-answer, another sore subject. He'd been scheduled to join us for the evening, but like Meg's father, he'd canceled last minute. He told me just before he attended tea with Granny, can't do it, Harold, Kate and the kids. I reminded him that this was our tradition, that we'd had dinner before his wedding, that we'd gone together and visit the crowds. He held fast. I can't do it. I pushed. Why are you being like this, Willie? I was with you the whole night before you married Kate. Why are you doing this? I asked myself, what was really going on? Was he feeling bad about not being my best man? Was he upset that I asked my old mate Charlie? The Palace put out the story that Willie was the best man, as they'd done with me when he and Kate married. Could that be part of it? Or was it a hangover from Beergate? Or was he feeling guilty about the business between Kate and Meg? He wasn't giving any indication. He just kept saying no, while asking me why it even mattered so much. Why are you even saying hello to the crowds, Harold? Because the press office told me to, as we did at your wedding. You don't need to listen to them. Since bloody when? I felt sick about it. I'd always believed, despite our problems, that our underlying bond was strong. I thought brotherhood would always trump a bridesmaid's dress or a beard. I guess not. Then just after leaving Granny around 6, Willie texted, he changed his mind, he was going to come. Maybe Granny intervened. Queen Elizabeth probably called his ass like, look, bitch, you better show the fuck up at this dinner or either I'm going to get your ass. That's what happened. Whatever, I thanked him happily, heartily. Moments later, we met outside and got into a car, which drove us down to King Edward Gate. We hopped out, walked up and down the crowd, thanking people for coming. People wished us well, blew us kisses. We waved goodbye, got back into the car. As we drove off, I asked him to come to dinner with me. I mentioned maybe staying the night as I had done before his wedding. He'd come to dinner, he said, but he wouldn't be able to stay. Come on, please, Willie. Sorry, Harold, can't, the kids. Now let's dissect this real quick, bitch, to see what, you know what is so sad? William is the one that favors Diana the most. So you want to, before getting into this book, you want to really like him. But he is ugly. It's given very much Charles, okay? And reading this, I know exactly what happened, bitch. He said he wasn't going. Elizabeth got on that phone and said, look, bitch, you not going to greet the crowds? See, she don't care. Here's the thing. Elizabeth don't care about the tradition. Rest her soul. I don't think she cared about their little tradition. I think she's always thinking about optics. And she probably said, look, you little bitch. What the fuck you mean you not going to go down there and greet the crowds with your brother before his wedding? We got to put on a strong, united front like we not racist out this motherfucker. You need to go down there, shake hands, kiss babies, sit your ass in the restaurant, have that dinner, and then you can go the fuck home. But you want to go meet them crowds. That's exactly what happened. You ain't going to tell me no different, okay? Now, That was the bullshit before the wedding. Now we getting ready to get into this confrontation. Okay, this is busy. Now, of course, you know, they get married, they go on honeymoon and all that. We saw the wedding on TV. We know what it gave. So I'm not getting into all that because we already know what it gave. Okay? Now, this is after the wedding, bitch. Willie and Kate invited us for tea to clear the air. This was in June 2018. We walked over one late afternoon. I saw Meg's eyes widen as we entered their front door, walked past their front sitting room, down their hallway, into their study. Wow, Meg said several times. The wallpaper, the crown molding, the walnut bookshelves lined with color-coordinated volumes, the priceless art. Gorgeous, like a museum. And we both told them so. We complimented them lavishly on their renovation, though we also thought sheepishly of our IKEA lamps, our discount sofa recently bought on sale with Meg's credit card from sofa.com. They must have took the money already. Not sofa.com, bitch. In the study, Meg and I sat on a love seat at one end of the room. Kate opposite us on a leather-clad fender before the fireplace. Willie was to her left in an armchair. There was a tray of tea and biscuits. For 10 minutes, we did the classic small talk. How are the kids? How was your honeymoon? You know, all that phony ass shit. Meg then acknowledged the tension among the four of us and ventured that it might go back to those early days when she first joined the family, a misunderstanding that had almost passed without notice. Kate thought Meg had wanted her fashion contacts, but Meg had her own. They got off on the wrong foot, perhaps. And then Meg added, everything got magnified by the wedding in those infernal bridesmaid dresses. So first off, I got a problem. So Meg, hold up. Kate thought Meg wanted her fashion contacts. So she was beefing about Meg wanted her. First of all, bitch, you don't even give looks like that. No shade. We have never looked at Kate and said, oh, bitch, Kate is serving. She's giving, bitch. If anything, it's giving fucking Shingar, church lady, Nordstrom rack exclusive. Bitch, you never gave looks. So why would you think that Meg needs your fashion contacts, bitch? And if you do got high-end fashion contacts, they're definitely not helping your motherfucking ass. So how much of a friend are they really to you? How much contact do you really have, sis? Because right now, this whole Meg wanted your fashion contacts. When I look at the fashions, it's not giving contacts. And that's no shade. That's just no shade. It's not giving fashion context, but whatever. Okay, so, but it turned out there were other things about which we'd been unaware. Willie and Kate were apparently upset that we hadn't given them Easter presents. Easter presents? Was that like a thing? Willie and I had never exchanged Easter presents. Pa always made a big deal about Easter, sure, but that was Pa. Still, if Willie and Kate were upset, we apologize. Bitch, y'all 30, looking like you're 50, and you mad because somebody didn't get you an Easter basket, bitch? Really? Is that what we doing right now? You mad about an Easter? Your big grown ass is mad that they didn't get you an Easter basket, sis? I'm screaming. Okay, anyway. For our part, we chipped in that we weren't too pleased when Willie and Kate switched place cards and changed seats at our wedding. We'd followed the American tradition, placing couples next to each other, but Willie and Kate didn't like that tradition, so their table was the only one where spouses were apart. They insisted it wasn't them, it was someone else. And they said we'd done the same thing at Pippa's wedding. We hadn't. Much as we wanted to, we'd been separated by a huge flower arrangement between us, and though we desperately wanted to sit together, we hadn't done a thing about it. None of this airing of grievances was doing us any good, I felt. We weren't getting anywhere. Kate looked out into the garden, gripping the edges of the leather so tightly that her fingers were white, and said she was owed an apology. Meg asked, for what? You hurt my feelings, Megan. When? Please tell me. I told you I couldn't remember something and you said it was my hormones. What are you talking about? Kate mentioned a phone call in which they discussed the timing of wedding rehearsals. Meg said, oh yes, I remember. You couldn't remember something and I said it's not a big deal. It's baby brain because you just had a baby. It's hormones. Kate's eyes widened. Yes, you talked about my hormones. We're not close enough for you to talk about my hormones. Meg's eyes got wide too. She looked genuinely confused. I'm sorry I talked about your hormones. That's just how I talk with my girlfriends. Willie pointed at Meg. It's rude, Megan. It's not what's done here in Britain. Kindly take your finger out my face. Was this really happening? Had it actually come to this? Shouting at each other about place cards and hormones? Meg said she'd never intentionally do anything to hurt Kate, and if she ever did, she asked Kate to please just let her know so it wouldn't happen again. We all hugged, kind of, and then I said we better be going. So let's examine this bitch. So you want an apology. First you want an apology because they didn't get you an Easter basket. Which I'm gagged. I'm bitch a Easter basket. Then you said you owed an apology. You owed an apology because Meg talked about your hormones. I've heard women talk about, oh yeah, girl, you just had a baby. I'm not a woman. I don't have kids. And even I know about postpartum depression and shit, bitch. That's kind of like common. But I feel like Kate and William, they're just digging. I think what it is, honestly, they weren't feeling that they weren't in the spotlight. Because let's go back to the wedding, bitch, especially here in America. We wasn't thinking about William and Kate. We was living for this wedding, this black girl magic, and this, fine ass, British man, and they getting married, and they get ready to have beautiful biracial babies and all. We was caught up in the rapture of love, bitch. We wasn't thinking about no goddamn Easter baskets and, hormones and all that. Then you talking about she wants your fashion contacts when you ain't even got no goddamn fashion sense. Okay? Crazy to me. Like, what is wrong with them? Like, I am confused, okay? I told y'all this is busy. So, now we're going to get into the slobber knocker, bitch. This is the section you've seen probably on a few of the news excerpts, but I'm going to read it in detail and see what's going on. I love y'all interactions in the chat. Y'all really here. I think this might be one of my better readings, honestly. I think that's crazy, but yeah, thank you. So we're getting ready to get into the coup de grace, bitch. Okay, this is when Harry and William had a little moment. I'm not calling this man Willie because I just hate that name. It's Harry and William. So, Willie asked for a meeting. He wanted to talk about everything, the whole rolling catastrophe. Just him and me, he said. As it happened, Meg was out of town visiting girlfriends, so his timing was perfect. I invited him over. An hour later, he walked into Knotcott, which is their house, where he hadn't been since Meg first moved in. He looked piping hot. It was early evening. I offered him a drink, asked about his family. Everyone good. He didn't ask about mine. He just went all in. Chips to the center of the table. Meg's difficult, he said. Oh, really? She's rude. She's abrasive. She's alienated half the staff. Not the first time he parroted the press narrative. Dutch is difficult, all that bullshit. Rumors, lies from his team, tabloid rubbish, and I told him so. Again, told him I expected better from my older brother. I was shocked to see that this actually pissed him off. Had he come here expecting something different? Did he think I'd agree that my bride was a monster? I told him to step back, take a breath, really ask himself, wasn't Meg his sister-in-law? Wouldn't this institution be toxic for any newcomer? Worst case scenario, if his sister-in-law was having trouble adjusting to a new office, a new family, a new country, a new culture, couldn't he see his way clear to cutting her some slack? Couldn't you just be there for her and help her? He had no interest in debate. He come to lay down the law. He wanted me to agree that Meg was wrong and then agree to do something about it. Like what? Scold her? Fire her? Divorce her? I didn't know. But Willie didn't know either. He wasn't rational. Every time I tried to slow him down, point out the illogic of what he was saying, he got louder. We were soon talking over each other, both of us shouting. Among all the different riotous emotions coursing through my brother that afternoon, one really jumped out at me. He seemed aggrieved. He seemed put upon that I was meekly obeying him, that I was being so impertinent as to deny him or defy him, to refute his knowledge which came from his trusted age. There was a script here, and I had the audacity not to be following it. He was in full air mode and couldn't fathom why I wasn't dutifully playing the role of despair. I was sitting on the sofa. He was standing over me. I remember saying, "You need to hear me out, Willie." He wouldn't. He simply would not listen. To be fair, he felt the same about me. He called me names, all kinds of names. He said I refused to take responsibility for what was happening. He said I didn't care about my office and the people who work for me. "Willie, give me one example." He cut me off. He said he was trying to help me. "Are you serious? Help me? Sorry? Is that what you call this? Helping me?" For some reason, that really set him off. He stepped towards me, swearing to the point that I'd been feeling uncomfortable. But now I felt a bit scared. I stood, brushed past him, went out to the kitchen, to the sink. He was right on my heels, berating me, shouting. I poured a glass of water for myself and one for him as well. I handed it to him. I don't think he took a sip. "Willie, I can't speak to you when you're like this." He set down the water, called me another name, then came at me. It all happened so fast, so very fast. He grabbed me by the collar, ripping my necklace, and he knocked me to the floor. I landed on a dog's bowl, which cracked under my back, the pieces cutting into me. I lay there for a moment, dazed, then got to my feet and told him to get out. "Come on, hit me. You'll feel better if you hit me." "Do what?" "Come on, we always used to fight. You'll feel better if you hit me." "Not only you'll feel better if I hit you, please, just leave." He left the kitchen, but he didn't leave Knockout. He was in the sitting room, I could tell. I stayed in the kitchen. 2 minutes passed. 2 long minutes. He came back looking regretful and apologized. He walked to the front door. This time I followed. Before leaving, he turned and called back. "You don't need to tell Meg about this." "You mean that you attacked me?" "I didn't attack you, Harold." "Fine, I won't tell her." "Good, thank you." He left. I looked at the phone. A promise is a promise. I told myself, so I couldn't call my wife much as I wanted to. But I needed to talk to someone. So I rang my therapist. Thank God she answered. I apologized for the intrusion, told her I didn't know who else to call. I told her I'd had a fight with Willie. He knocked me to the floor. I looked down and told her that my shirt was ripped, my necklace was broken. We'd had a million physical fights in our lives, I told her. As boys, we'd done nothing but fight. But this felt different. The therapist told me to take deep breaths. She asked me to describe the scene several times. Each time I did, it seemed more like a bad dream. It made me a bit calmer. I told her I'm proud of myself. "Proud, Harry? Why's that?" I didn't hit him back. I stayed true to my word. Didn't tell Meg. But not long after she returned from her trip, she saw me coming out of the shower and gasped. "What are those scrapes and bruises on your back?" I couldn't lie to her. She wasn't that surprised, and she wasn't angry at all. She was terribly sad. Okay. So let's unpack this, right? Here's what I think happened. I think that I don't know who sent them. I'm not going to say it was Elizabeth. I really think it was Charles. Sent him and told him, "Look, you got to get your brother in check because he needs to get his wife in check." And I really feel like, here's the thing, and now we get ready to get busy, right? We look at William and we see Diana in the face. I've been saying this a lot. But let's think about William as it pertains to Charles. First of all, Harry does not look like Charles. There's no resemblance whatsoever. There have always been rumors that Harry is not Charles's child anyway. So that's the first thing. The second thing is Charles and William now have a certain specific bond that Elizabeth doesn't have, that Harry doesn't have. That bond is that both Prince Charles and William were both overshadowed in the press and in celebrity by people close to him. Let's think about it. We never looked at Prince Charles in the light that we looked at Diana. We never looked at Prince Charles in the light that we looked at Elizabeth too. And now with William, he's getting overshadowed by his renegade brother who served in the military, was on the front lines, flying planes and shit, marries a black woman, is a rock star. So when we look at their relationship, William and Charles are more bonded than Harry and Charles because they have more things in common. And you're not going to tell me that conversations were not had. And so now, even through no fault of his own, Harry is very much an outsider. And I think that's probably why. I think that if you watch The Crown, Elizabeth too had a very interesting relationship with her sister, who was, the spare. But also too, in watching The Crown and hearing different stories, Elizabeth also was very sympathetic to that. And some of it she kind of felt guilty about, even though the bitch ultimately was going to do her job. So I think that's probably why Elizabeth too let Harry get away with more, because she understood ultimately, that lady was around for a long time. She understood ultimately how this was going to play out, right? So there were certain graces that she gave Harry that she would not give William, because she knew what Harry was facing. Harry is now sixth in line. He's never going to see that throne. He's not even nowhere close to it. But it bothers William and it bothers Prince Charles that the spare, who is now sixth in line, is the people's prince, the people's princess. They're the people's prince and the people's princess. So when Elizabeth leaves, like, no shade, nobody's paying Charles any mind. Nobody would really be paying William any mind either. But from a PR perspective, the world is viewing Harry and Meghan prior to this whole fallout as the face of the royal family. They are the face of the royal, before this whole thing. And even now, throughout, with this going on, they are the face of the royal family. Even though they have left, they are still the face of the royal family. Nobody's thinking about now King Charles. Nobody's watching that fucking coronation. Nobody gives a damn that he's going to be crowned King of England. Nobody cares. But if Harry would succeed in that throne with his beautiful wife, who just so happened to be black, there's a story. There's a sensation. And now, outside of the racist British culture, you now have the world watching and intrigued. Let's think about the wedding. We were intrigued. I ain't never seen people up at 5 a.m. to watch, especially in America, we don't get up for other countries shit like that. We just don't. But people was in their pajamas and fascinators at 5 o'clock in the morning watching their goddamn wedding. So in The Crown, I once again, to bring it all home, I think that that's why there was such a rift. And I honestly believe that Charles and Camilla had been grooming William for this for some years. And I think that that's why Harry was allowed to go into the military. That's why Harry was, just let to do anything. Because while Harry was out living his life in the club and shit, flying planes, we don't know what was being said to William in those years. What was being fed to him. What kind of conversations were being had. All of that bleeds, and it's unfortunate because that toxicity from the possibility of Charles being bitter is now bleeding into the relationship of his children, which is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I as a parent, I don't see how you could pit your children against each other. I think that's a very cruel thing, and it's a betrayal to parenthood. And once again, I am not a parent, but it is a betrayal to parenthood to do that. And now we have this whole situation. So I'm going to read a little bit more, and then we're going to wrap it up, because The Last of Us come on tonight. I got to get done. I got to be ready, girl. So, soon after that day, it was announced that the two royal households, Cambridge and Sussex, would no longer share an office. We'd no longer be working together in any capacity. The Fab Four, finis. Reaction was about expected. The public groaned, journalists brayed. The more disheartening response was from my family. Silence. They never commented publicly, never said anything privately to me. I never heard from Pa, never heard from Granny. It made me think, really think about the silence that surrounded everything else that happened to me and Meg. I'd always told myself that just because everyone in my family didn't explicitly condemn press attacks, it didn't mean they condoned them. But now I ask, is that true? How do I know? If they never say anything, why do I so often assume that I know how they feel and that they're unequivocally on my side? Everything I've been taught, everything I've grown up believing about the family, about the monarchy, about its essential fairness, its job of uniting rather than dividing, was being undermined and called into question. Was it all fake? Was it all just a show? Because if we couldn't stand up for one another, rally around our newest member, our first biracial member, which is slightly not true, then what were we really? Was that a true constitutional monarchy? Was that a real family? Isn't defending each other the first rule of every family? Meg and I moved our office into Buckingham Palace. We also moved into a new home. Frogmore was ready. We loved that place. From the first minute, it felt as if we were destined to live there. We couldn't wait to wake up in the morning, go for a long walk in the gardens, check in with the swans, especially Grumpy Steve. We met the Queen's gardeners, got to know their names and the names of all the flowers. They thrilled at how much we appreciated and praised their artistry. Amid all this change, we huddled with our new head of comms, Sarah. We plotted a new strategy with her, the centerpiece of which was having nothing whatsoever to do with the royal rota, and hoped that we might soon be able to make a fresh start. Towards the end of April 2019, days before Meg was due to give birth, Willie rang. I took the call in our new garden. Something had happened between him and Pa and Camilla. I couldn't get the whole story. He was talking too fast and was way too upset. He was seething, actually. I gathered that Pa and Camilla's people had planted a story or stories about him and Kate and the kids, and he wasn't going to take it anymore. Give Pa and Camilla an inch, he said, they take a mile. They've done this to me for the last time. I got it. They've done the same to me and Meg as well. But it wasn't them, technically. It was the most gung-ho member of Pa's comms team, a true believer who devised and launched a new campaign of getting good press for Pa and Camilla at the expense of bad press for us. For some time, this person had been peddling unflattering stories, fake stories about the heir and the spare to all the papers. I suspected that this person had been the lone source for stories about a hunting trip I made to Germany in 2017. Stories that made me out to be some fat-bottomed 17th century baron who craved blood and trophies, when in reality, I was working with German farmers to cull wild boar and save their crops. I believe the story had been offered as a straight swap, in exchange for greater access to pie, and also as a reward for the suppression of stories about Camilla's son, who had been gadding around London, generating tawdry rumors. I was displeased about being used like this, and livid about it being done to me, but I had to admit, it was happening much more often lately to Willie, and he was justifiably incandescent. You know, Prince Charles, and you know, it's watching The Crown, and The Crown is not law, but watching The Crown, you know, sometimes I would feel bad for him because he couldn't marry the love of his life. But if what's in this book is true, I just don't understand how you can throw your kids under the bus, pit them against each other like that. And you're doing it for this ugly ass, horse-faced bitch with terrible skin and bad hair. I don't get it. I don't get it. But then again, both of y'all ugly, so it makes sense. Okay. But you're throwing your children under the bus. And it's like, I know you love your kids. I feel like that. But Camilla must be a talented bedroom magician, bitch. Because I just don't see how you can let a bitch that look like that fuck up all your shit. I don't get it. And beauty isn't everything, okay? But really, and you're gonna get coronated, nobody's gonna care. She's queen consort, nobody's gonna care. But you know that nobody's gonna care. And that's gotta really suck to know that at the end of the day, people are just waiting for you to kick the bucket so that the next people could come in. Someone said a Hoover in the comments. She must suck like a Hoover. She doing something. She doing something. You know, she one of them floor vacuums that just automatically suck up all the dust. You just put her ass on the floor. She just go. You know, she doing something. Because I don't see it. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Okay? I don't see it. But we're going to leave it there for the night. I am going to be in Park City, Utah for the Sundance Film Festival Thursday for like 5 days. So I will be in the shivering cold wearing very fashionable snowsuits and seeing great films and doing some work behind the scenes. If y'all want to read again, let me know. Put it in the comments. I might post a poll or something like that. If y'all want to read another piece of it, we can do that next week. I'm thinking like, it's giving like Wednesday teas, like Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those days. We'll see how we feel. Let's see how we feel. In the meantime, if you feel so inclined to donate to the readings in my time, you can do that via Cash App or Venmo, Dapper Dan Midas. It's pinned in the comments as well. All donations are appreciated. But for now, it's Sunday night. Know that I love you. Know that you are loved, whatever you're going through in life. I hope that this hour takes you away from that and you've had a good time. Having a cackle with me as we read about the nonsense Easter baskets, bitch, with the royal family. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Dapper Dan Midas. That's all that. Peace and love. Once again, I love you all, and I'll be in touch soon. Wednesday, let me know in the comments. Bye.